So Donald Trump cannot stop being Donald Trump and saying and doing Donald Trump things. Mediaite here says, Trump shares article claiming Brian Kemp's massive victory in Georgia was stolen. He can't stop, bro. He can't stop. He's the ultimate, like, child throwing a tantrum. Any result that doesn't go his way, he's like, rigged, stolen, wrong. All right, let's see what they say. Former President Donald Trump appears to be dropping accusations of election fraud once again through the Save America PAC. Trump shared an article from conservative pundit Emerald Robinson, claiming that the recent victory of Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia's gubernatorial primary was not legitimate. Quote, something stinks in Georgia, Robinson wrote. Her argument is mainly that Trump's endorsements in Georgia essentially meant nothing, which she claims runs counter to the results in other jurisdictions. Trump endorsed David Perdue. Trump endorsed David Perdue, ran against Kemp, someone he's feuded with over the 2020 presidential election results, but Perdue lost by a wide margin. Something even Robinson admits, though she claims nobody wins by as big of a margin as Kemp. Quote, on primary day in Georgia, Kemp gets 74% and Perdue gets 22%. Nobody in any election in America gets 74% of the votes ever. It doesn't happen, she wrote. Obvious fraud. I love this argument. I love this argument because look at what's happening with McCormick and Dr. Oz. So Trump already came out. That race is basically a statistical tie. I don't know if it's Oz or McCormick who has the slightest edge in the world. It's like less than 1,000 votes that separates them, and it's going into like automatic recount territory, and it's going through litigation, and they're trying to determine which ballots do we count, how do we count them, etc. I want to recount here, I want to recount there, whatever. That's a razor-thin race. Trump goes out and says Oz should just declare victory. He should declare victory and do it right now. What are you doing? So, hold on. If it's close, you want to declare victory without even knowing the results. And then, by the way, he would be screaming if McCormick ends up winning, he's going to do the whole, like, that's rigged, that's stolen too, right? So if it's close, it's rigged, it's stolen. If it's a blowout, it's rigged, it's stolen. So in other words, it's just always rigged or stolen if it doesn't go in the direction you want it to go in. Because he would never in a million years say, hey, this is a race that I won here, but that looks fishy to me. Maybe that one was rigged and stolen. Weird, how fucking convenient that every time it's rigged or stolen, it's always your candidate that didn't win. It's you or one of your candidates that didn't win. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic. Now, by the way, at a national level, see, he's right in a weird sense. At a national level, yeah, Democrat versus Republican national election, you're never going to have a presidential election ever again that's 74% one direction or another. It's just not going to happen. A blowout now is like 56% for the presidential race going to a Democrat or a Republican, right? But at the state level or at the local level, of course that can fucking happen. Now, in the case of Kemp, he was already the Republican governor of Georgia. He was liked by Republicans there. And then there were also instances now of Democrats who crossed over to vote for Kemp over Perdue just to say fuck you to Trump. There's already been reports of that. But he just swats that aside. Obvious fraud. One aspect that makes Georgia's primaries unique, though Robinson says it's not the real story, is that they are not limited to political party affiliation, meaning both Democrats and Republicans can cast ballots for them. Robinson cited polling averages from Real Clear Politics, which still showed Kemp ahead of Perdue, but not by as much as he ended up getting in the final results. Another poll cited by Robinson from the University of Georgia found that Trump's endorsement swayed many Republican voters in Georgia elections. The poll also found, however, that his endorsement meant next to nothing to the 736 Republicans reached by phone in the gubernatorial primary race. Donald Trump's endorsement doesn't seem to mean much in Georgia's Republican primary race for governor. The report on the findings reads, in the gubernatorial race, Kemp polled at approximately 48% to produce 37% among the respondents. Once informed of Trump's endorsement, the results didn't change all that much, with Kemp dropping to about 46% and Perdue hopping to about 39%. Robinson's other argument to back up her claim is that Trump's endorsements have worked elsewhere in the country, like in the case of J.D. Vance, the controversial author and Republican who won his Senate primary after a heated and packed battle. Yeah, but here's the thing. He's always had a mixed bag in terms of how his endorsements do. He always has. But he only talks about when they do well, and he pretends like he wins them all. And so he's painting a fake narrative. He's painting a false narrative. He wins maybe 60% of the elections where he endorses somebody. So it's not a surefire thing. The controversial author and Republican who won a Senate primary after a heated and packed battle. Kemp's challenger, Perdue, didn't raise such worries after losing the primary race by more than 50 points. Quote, I just called the governor and congratulated him, the Republican said in his concession speech, adding that he is fully supporting Kemp in the upcoming race against Democrat Stacey Abrams. Okay, so there you go. Trump already talking about rigged election. It's just, look, and we're going to get to another story on this later. The guy just doesn't give a fuck about what's true or false. You know, he's the living embodiment of the id and the will to power. And it just looks so stupid when it butts up against reality. And there's another instance, again, we'll cover later, of him telling just an outright unbelievable lie. And another Republican who supports him is like, yeah, man, that's not true. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, please stop saying that. It's not accurate. And he can't help himself because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's whatever builds his own narrative. But, I mean, look, bottom line is this. He's not invincible. Like, yes, he's become the biggest name in Republican politics. There's no denying that. There's no denying that. But also, sometimes that's not enough. And sometimes local politics might trump national politics. And even though the Republican base is still with Donald Trump, it's not, there are issues where they're like, hey man, we're not with you on that. And one of those things is rigged election 2020 nonsense. Because even people who are Republicans who agree with him that all the election was fishy, right? They still say only 15% of Republicans want this to continue being an issue moving forward. 15%, that's nothing. So yes, you're not, there was a time when he was Teflon Don. Clearly he no longer was Teflon Don when he lost the presidential race, which he did lose the presidential race. Over 60 court cases, the Arizona audit, we know he lost the presidential race. So it seems, I don't know, I can't tell. Does he actually believe his fake aura of invincibility thing? He might, I don't know. Or he's just conveniently lying and he knows he's lying. Either way, he's going to do this from now until he's no longer with us. Every election where he gets involved and he backs somebody, if they don't win, oh, it's, they're cheating, they're rigging it, it's fake. And it's a child's way of dealing with reality. And it's honestly, at the core of it is what? Petty authoritarianism. That's why he said Oz should declare victory even if he didn't win. Because he doesn't care about the actual process or about democracy or the will of the voters. It's just like, I want that guy. That's my guy. If he doesn't win, I'm going to throw a tantrum and I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to steal it. That's definitely a dictatorial instinct. There's no doubt about it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.